Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be covering competitive gaming from hero shooters to fighting games. Sub now before I get world famous, and you could say you were here from the very beginning, right next to my one other subscriber, which is my mom. Thanks, Mom, I love you. In this video, I'm going to be covering my run from Grandmaster 3 to Celestial 3 in one night, where I did a 15-game win streak, all solo queue. So basically, I got a 66% win rate in the first half of Season 7. But in the Grandmaster lobbies, I ended with an 80% win rate. Since I did it early in the season, I ended up in the top 99.03 percentile. Here are the screenshots. Marvel at the editing. I'm going to be giving tips and what I have learned in my journey in Marvel Rivals, making us all level up. I'm mainly a flex player. I have 3 different accounts, all in Grandmaster and above. This is my DPS account. I have a tank account and a healing account as well. Okay, so I believe that the game starts when you're selecting your characters. It's an idea to see what they want to play. I try to work around my team. If they don't want to pick right away, I tend to pick before the timer runs out. I am not big on the banning process. I don't think banning makes all that much of a difference if the team is not communicating. Basically, I think banning really matters in the higher lobbies where you're banning for specific characters to not counter your own character and stuff like that. But a lot of people end up banning characters that their team might play, and since there's no communication, you end up handicapping your team at times. And there's very little thought about that goes into banning for most people. So they just ban whichever character they like the least or who they think is the strongest. But if the strongest character, if one of the players in your game has the strongest character, they're going to be handicapped and they're not going to play that well. So the team up with Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch are a big deal, so I will caution for that. I mainly play Scarlet Witch. Boo! I heard you. I know. I'm here to also prove that she's not as bad as people make her out to be. She has great utility. She's just not amazing at one thing. So basically, she's great against dive. She's great against. She's good for frontline damage. She could flank, but she doesn't do any of that exceptionally. Maybe just dive and the fast character. So obviously this is a replay. Unfortunately, I didn't get any live footage on this ones, but I have already posted other live footage, and I'm going to be posting more live footage as the channel continues to grow. So I like to use a team up once someone overextends. So in that scenario, I waited for the thing to actually jump into it. I see a lot of players kind of just use a team up right away, and you're pushing them back into spawn. That doesn't do much for you, as opposed to when they overextend, you punish them for it. And he led to his death, I believe, since the kill feed unfortunately is not working. I don't remember, but I believe he led to the thing's death.
You stop them in their tracks.
Now, obviously, this feels like the other team is not well organized, and our team's a lot more organized. It's important that you can see like the whole playing field. So the moment the Dark Strange went up, I saw it. I was not in the make necessarily trying to just do damage for no reason. I'm actually trying to pressure them with damage so they don't really capitalize on any space. And again, the thing overextended. I have my team up there, and then he led to his death. One other thing you want to do in higher level playing as well is keep track of where you're actually. If you're leading to elims, if you're leading to deaths, it's not just about getting the final hit. It's also about the elims you get. So even if I didn't kill the thing there, I contribute to his death. So always be mindful of the kill feed to know if the person you were looking at ended up dying.
Damn, that was a bad ult. I killed 3 people. I wish the kill feed was working right now. Obviously, the biggest weakness of Scarlet Witch, though, is her ult. That by far makes her somewhat unplayable in higher lobbies. Like, that's a fair point. Like, that's what people are always concerned about having a Scarlet Witch in their team. use their ult. And I think now it's not as big of a deal as it was back in the earlier season, because when they nerfed the ult game by nerfing the amount of time it takes to build ult, neutral became a lot more important, and she could do a lot of work for neutral. See, I was able to get out of dodge there very easily for disappearing. So, and I get people to focus. But sorry, back to my original point. Now that the ults don't matter as much because you don't get as many ults, your neutral play is now put into question more, making her a little stronger than what she was in the past. Team swipe, they got nothing on the inverse ult, and I'm keeping my eyes on magic. Ooh, that was a shot. So that's where I got the healer in the way to this one.
Only 60 seconds left.
Obviously, at this point, it feels like they're more or less giving up. They're not really coming out of spawn. Another thing to keep in mind when you're spawn camping, you don't need to do all this crazy damage and not let them out, because that could feed their healing points. And in higher level playing, that's not really a smart thing to do. Even the position we're holding up is kind of up close, a little too close, but clearly there's a difference between the two teams. Right there, I just got a kill with Invis from a distance. I don't know if you guys noticed earlier. When I go up to the higher ground, I'm looking at pressuring the healers. I don't have to get the kill, but I want to pressure them. I want them to use their cooldowns. But he actually led to Invis's death. Again, that was because I'm also paying attention to the kill feed at all times. A lot of people kind of don't pay attention to the kill feed, and that really goes a long way. So this is a good example of how the ult did not. And that's just one of the issues with the character. There's a cloak fade. Fox to stop your ult. I have a Komodo obviously is gonna stop your ult. Jeff to stop your ult. And so that's definitely one of her weaknesses. So you really gotta play around that, and you really gotta add a lot of value in the neutral play. Oh, this is pretty cool. I remember this one. So I'm gonna hold point for a while. I was about to kill Punisher too. At this point, we lost the team fight, so I'm just trying to stall point. You have a debate here. Maybe it would have been better if I died quicker, so I would have just come back with my team faster. But now I'm kind of staggering here, but the card is also not moving. They're having a hard time shooting. This is a Grandmaster lobby, by the way. I believe this is Grandmaster too. Yeah, because this is the first fight of the 15 game wins. So basically the portal, so I was mindful of that, I removed the portal. Kind of jumping and went straight to the healers. Rocket actually covered himself from the ult, so unfortunately he couldn't survive there. Notice I'm going to the healers. This is the first job you want to do basically. Once the fight opens up, you're not going to be waiting around. I'm just doing damage to tanks. Once the fight opens up and you get a good idea of where everyone's positioned, you start pressuring the healers. That is probably going to be the biggest contribution you could add as a DPS player. You don't necessarily have to get killed, but if you make them use cooldowns, it's gonna either weaken their front line because now they use the cooldowns to survive and not on the front. I think at this point, spoiler alert, spoiler, they surrendered. Did you imagine that was gonna happen? Probably not, right? You were like, oh, they're gonna put up a good fight right now. They're gonna, really, they're gonna be like, this is a competitive game. I want to give it all I got. Unfortunately, that is a state of Marvel Rivals where people do tend to give up somewhat easily. There's plenty of games I have won that seem unwinnable, even 5v6. If we were about to win anyway, sometimes at 4v6. But people tend to give up kind of early on here. So let's see if they surrender. Hopefully at this point I know how to put up videos for you to link to watch out. They surrender.
This is the 5th attempt. That's it. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. Like and subscribe and follow me so that you can help me become the #1 Marvel Rivals streamer in my neighborhood. Thanks for watching. Bye.